Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Raging Nightmare reaction video, where today guys we're about to see the story of Impact's top die. Now I have, again, like I said, apart from the fact that apparently this was I believe a former Cloud9 player, because I definitely know that Cloud9 have had top guys like Surefour before in their team, who's now part of the LA Gladiators Overwatch scene. But I can't wait to. I have been almost wanting to like binge watch these sort of videos for days, because I just straight up want to know more about these guys, because you get tons of variety as well in the journeys all of these great stars have had, like Soda, or it could be a Canadian, or Jonak, and I can't wait to find out who's going to be next. So let's see the story of Impact. So if you guys want to check out the original video for yourselves, links will all be in the description down below. Let's begin the story of Impact in 3, 2, 1, and
who else but Impact?
Here comes Impact.
Impact is a god in this series. Top die, jungle die.
Phase out required, flash in, Impact does he?
Oh,
he does! First blood there, ulti's out under the turret.
Piglet got Jump the Waters on him, and they're now absolutely running for the fountain. This does...
Actually, I should point out that ever since I did the Ice video, I have actually played a few games of League of Legends in my before that, and I gotta tell you what, it looks, at first glance when you like play it for the very first time, it doesn't seem all that difficult to understand, but I can only imagine it gets even harder from there on in. I'm just gonna like lay that on the line here, because if these guys know what they're doing, then I think we should just best leave them to it.
Not look good for Royal.
This doesn't end. Crescendo catches all of them. It's a double for Impact. They get on the fountain.
Here comes the battle back as Fenn's gonna lose his life. Both junglers now dead. 4v3, but Smoothie's injured. They've got to be careful. Double to clean it up. Here comes the damage shot, but Smoothie's gonna go down. Haunts are staying alive.
No!
There's the Megadar. It's up to Impact. And
Impact is a hero.
Impact taking up in the back lines. Still hasn't died, but Apollo's gone. Game's still up somehow. Impact kiting away from Dominate. Oh my god! Another ace for Impulse.
It's actually... Oh, you're kidding me! Impact actually gets the kill.
Passive shield
and
keep
he's
him
not
alive.
dying. Are you freaking kidding me, Impact? Still staying alive.
no.
Rakan shows up, gives him the heart, and that is ridiculous.
He just goes top die, and then he gets a solo kill.
Chong Impact Onyong was born in March 1995 in South Korea and was an early adopter to League of Legends, playing on the North American server before the Korean one was released. But once it was released in December 2011, his talent attracted attention. He first joined Zenix Storm as a support player in 2012, where he helped them qualify for the upcoming OGN spring season. Zenix made a deep run in that inaugural Champions Tournament, losing an extremely close semifinal to MIG Frost.
MIG coming back in game number 5 is going to the finals.
They won the third place match against OP, finishing their first season in third, and regrouped for summer. But after Storm's run in the summer ended in the quarterfinals, Impact entered a period of roster turbulence. He left Zenix to play for Tempest, but that roster was eventually acquired by Zenix. But by February 2013, Impact left the org for good and found a new team. Impact found a place on SK Telecom T12's newly formed roster. And having switched to top lane near the end of his time with Zenix, he'd stay in that role with SKT. It was clear almost immediately that SKT had something special in that roster.
Taking out a double kill actually for Impact.
Playing alongside Bengi, Faker, Piglet, and Pumandu, SKT T12 placed third in the spring, but came into their own by the time summer started. And in a dazzling final outside the Jamsil Olympic Stadium in Seoul in August 2013, Impact won his first OGN title.
Then Impact taunts away, comes back in. That was the wrong move. He's got Sunfire Case. Azana trying to ult away. Can he do it? He gets out, Ignite ticking down, but with the shield.
Impact played well in that series, showing that he was a top-level player in his position. But his performance was somewhat obscured by one of his teammates' growing shadow.
Faker may be in trouble here, Deathmark tries to clean it up for Ryu. Oh, look at the cleanse, look at the moves! Faker, what was that?
Faker with a huge play, the QSS.
I can't believe I just saw
he
that.
actually won that duel.
I can't believe that happened.
Telecom
I'm gonna lose my
just
mind.
charges into the KT Bullets base.
Oh, wow. Can you say GG?
With rivals KT Rolster Bullets missing out on the World Championship that year, Impact and SK Telecom T1K looked like the strongest Korean team headed to the year's biggest tournament.
해외 여행이 처음이라서 여행가? 여행이지 그래도 여행가? 정신 차려?
SKT entered the group stage ready to assert their dominance, but they were surprised by the quality of teams that they faced early on.
참여하고 나서 정말 여기 처음 왔을 때부터 되게 저희가 좀 우승할 확률이 높다고 자만했었는데 정말 오니까 정말 월드 챔피언십에 올 만한 자격이 있는 팀들이라고 생각해요.
And when they dropped a group stage game to China's OMG, SKT, the strongest team heading into the tournament, realized that they needed to get serious, that this was no vacation.
일단 지금 여기 와서 연습을 한국 때보다 더 많이 하는데 그만큼 노력을 많이 하고 있어서 지금 이대로만 하면 될 것 같아요.
SKT exited the group stage 7-1, and in the quarterfinals, they matched up against one of 4 teams seeded directly into the bracket, the Gamania Bears. They dispatched them 2-0.
NL has been caught. He's been kicked backwards. That's NL dead to rights. Now Stake will be the next one to fall. Who gets the kill credit? It's Faker as Piglet picks up his second. Now Wins is getting dropped down as Sorta in the background is crushed. A clean ace for SKT, and they're going to close this game out.
So far, SKT had only dropped 1 game throughout the tournament, but they faced a serious obstacle in the semifinals. Najin Sword. The winners of Champions Winter 2012-2013, Najin qualified directly for the quarterfinals at Worlds. So by the time SKT sat down to face them, they had little recent information on them.
SKT T1이 사실 저희 이제 한국 서킷 포인트에서 저희를 롤드컵으로 이제 보내줬고요.
And perhaps because of that unfamiliarity, it was a close series from the get-go.
That leaves us at 2-2 now. We're going to go into the last game. It's anyone's.
SKT got off to an early lead thanks to superior laning and an edge in objectives, but Najin continued to apply pressure with their pick-focused comp. In the end, SKT's superior team fighting was too much for Najin, and they ended the game quickly off the back of 1 clean fight.
Here comes Impact. He's on to Prey. Prey still alive as the counter-strike doesn't land. A good charm. Now Piglet's in trouble. He uses the arcane shift forward. He secured another kill as Nightmare's on the retreat. Nightmare gets up. He manages to pick up 1 before Piglet closes it out. Expression's still in trouble.
Still in trouble, and he's the last man up. And this one is Impact going to dive on top of him. There is the ace for SKT. This is at least an inhib here.
It was the first time since the Korean Summer Final that SKT had really been tested. For a roster with young players, many in their first year of competitive play, they were able to stay calm and composed, and they dismantled Najin in the clutch.
When they win so quickly. That was 1 team fight into game over for SKT.
There was...
I'm literally going to go out on a limb and say that even some of the best league players in the world, that doesn't happen too often. Oh, unless of course you know exactly what you're doing with your team. That does not look particularly that easy. And I haven't played League long enough to figure out exactly if that's possible to do. But again, just leave it in the hands of guys like Faker and Impact. I think it's pretty obvious what kind of people we're dealing with.
1 series left between Impact, SKT, and History. 1 stage. And it would be one of esports' biggest to date. Though Season 2's World Championship had been one of the biggest esports events held in the West ever at the time, Season 3's offering was on a completely different scale. And it was in a packed Staples Center to the roar of thousands of fans that Impact and his team played for an engraving on the Summoners Cup. Though Impact was no stranger to playing in front of large crowds, this would be his biggest so far. And in the lead up to the finals, SKT's players were candid about some nerves related to the big series.
저 좋긴 한데 제가 원래 경기장에 그 큰 거에 따라 긴장도가 바뀌는 게 아니고 약간 로또예요. 날짜에 따라 긴장도가 바뀌어가지고.
Their opponents in the final were Royal Club, a Chinese team that bulldozed OMG and Fnatic on their way to the finals. The team's big personalities and Tabe's English interviews,
First of all, hello guys. I love LA.
quickly made them a fan favorite. But it wasn't just popular perception. Royal's clean dismantling of OMG and Fnatic, the other two teams to go 7-1 in groups, convinced many analysts of their strength.
I'm going with Royal. I'm going to have to go ahead and choose Royal as well.
Royal all the way.
Lots of kills back and forward, but it's SK Telecom taking.
I mean, I don't blame Royal for that. I mean, hell, if you want to, like, it's one thing to play really good. It's also one thing to demonstrate who you are on and off the pitch. That's just gonna win over the fans' approval anyway, because it's that sort of environment.
Game 2 in the World Finals.
After going up 2-0 against Royal, SKT looked set to sweep the series. As far as Impact was concerned, once they locked in Jax, one of his signature picks, the tournament was his.
플레이는 모르고 그냥 잭스 픽할 때 이길 것 같다 생각밖에 안 들었어요.
Piglet got Jump the Waters on him, and they're now absolutely running for the fountain. This does not look good for Royal. This doesn't. Crescendo catches all of them. It's a double for Impact. They get on the fountain. SK Telecom are just rolling through. The Nexus turrets are potentially going to go down. This could be a 20-minute game for SK Telecom. They will be the Season 3 World Champions here at the Staples Center.
In the end, Worlds 2013 belonged to Korea. It belonged to SKT. It belonged to Impact. For Impact and the rest of SKT, standing on that stage and hoisting that trophy was the culmination of their careers so far.
I thought that the Staples Center looked familiar. That's where WrestleMania 21 was held. I knew I recognized that from somewhere.
But they wanted more. And they got it. SKT went undefeated in the group stage of Champions Winner 2013-2014. They swept Samsung Blue in the quarterfinals. They swept the KT Rolster Bullets in the semifinals. Then they swept Samsung Ozone in the finals. 15-0 in 6 series. It's still the only perfect season in the history of Korean League. SKT were on top of the world. But it was the last time Impact would taste success in Korea.
Oh, really?
2014 was a slump year for SKT. Although 2013 had been all about the mechanical prowess of SKT stars, 2 new rosters had begun to rise to prominence, ones with the mechanics and team play to surpass SKT. Samsung Blue and Samsung Ozone, later Samsung White, were 2 of the strongest rosters in the world in 2014. And the latter knocked SKT out of champions spring and summer in the quarterfinals both times. Then, SKT missed out on Worlds after losing to a surging Najin White Shield in the regional finals. SKT didn't even get a chance to defend their world championship. Fans of the team had begun to see some of the players as dead weight. Faker was still a god, but his teammates couldn't keep up. And though Impact played well in the series against White Shield, there was a clear sense that changes needed to be made. At the same time, Riot Korea announced that they would be removing sister teams for the 2015 season. And as some teams consolidated their rosters, there was also a huge surge of players leaving Korea, as stars from League's top region sought glory and money abroad. Impact was one of them. According to reports at the time, Impact chose to leave the roster, and he said that he was ready for something new.
그러니까 좀 다시 말할게요. 해외 경험도 해보고 싶었고, 그리고 일단 미국이 나라를 좀 돌아다녔는데 가장 색이 좋았고.
He joined Team Impulse and got off to a decent start with his new team, finishing the regular season in 4th place with an 11-7 record. They lost to Team Solomid in the playoff semifinals, then to Team Liquid in the third place match to finish the spring in fourth. Impulse played high-kill, entertaining games, often with off-meta picks like Yasuo, Fizz, and Lee Sin. But even as he embraced and enabled his team's chaotic playstyle, Impact was a stable force in the top lane.
Impact taking up in the back lines, still hasn't died, but Apollo's gone. Gate's still up somehow. Impact kiting away from Dominate. Oh my god, another ace for Impulse.
For the first time in his career, he was not overshadowed by mechanical prodigies. Instead, he was the veteran presence among a group of relatively inexperienced players. Though he was still working on English, Impact had quietly become more than just one of the mechanically strongest tops in NA. By the end of summer, he was also learning to put his overconfident past behind him and become a leader.
At first it's kind of intimidating, but I do have a lot of respect for him. He has a lot of knowledge. He's really patient with the game. So it's been quite a big learning experience for me.
좀 좋은 모습 보여서 NA에서는 그래도 지금 가장 잘하는 탑소리라고 말할 수 있는 사람은 많을 것 같아요, 지금은.
And heading into playoffs in summer 2015, TIP were a legitimate contender. They finished the regular season in third place at 12-6. Their wild and unpredictable style had allowed them to take wins off of teams trying for a more standard style, and their powerful solo lanes in Impact and Xiao Zhao were a force.
Adrian, Impact, and Apollo all inside the Baron pit, doing what they can now just on the entrance. St. Vicious is a big focus now. Over onto Rush and Impact, they're onto Keen.
But after Xiao Zhao was banned due to elo boosting, Impulse's unpredictable style wasn't enough. They lost to CLG in the semifinals and Team Liquid in the third place match. Impulse finished fourth again. It was enough to earn Impact and Company a spot in the regional gauntlet. For Impact, it was a chance for him to make it back to Worlds, to stand on that stage one more time. And it started off well, but after a reverse sweep at the hands of Cloud9, who were on their way to a miraculous run to Worlds, Impulse finished short of a spot on the World stage. For Impact, it was the second time in a row he'd been eliminated in the gauntlet, falling just shy of a World's berth. Impact joined a new team, Energy Esports, in November, but despite a relatively strong start to the split, Energy failed to make much of a splash and were eliminated in the quarterfinals. Though Impact had earned the respect of North American fans, he had yet to really prove himself. He might have been seen as one of NA's strongest top laners, but he had yet to play for one of NA's strongest teams. It was time for another change. It was on Cloud9 that Impact cemented himself as one of the strongest top laners in the region, and Impact's dominant laning helped to coin a new phrase.
He just goes top die, and then he gets a solo kill, so I don't know, he's really good.
And throughout the end of the split, Impact was making waves again for his stellar individual plays with the team, prompting analysts and players to herald him as the region's best top laner. This time, Impact wasn't eliminated early in the playoffs, and Cloud9 made it to the finals. The series was close.
So far, so good for Cassiopeia. Flashes out, stays alive, dodges the snipe, and the fight is in. Sneaking with the Hurricane, looking for damage. There's a flash knockup. They're going to go for Biofrost. That will be TSM's Canadian sword. Going down, they find one. They're looking for two. Bjergsen's caught up. There's two for C9. 7-2 on the scoreboard right now, looking towards Baron.
But in the end, TSM was able to clutch the series out.
Double killing them all. Kills everybody. They've got three. Impact goes down. An ace for TSM. As TSM cement themselves as the most dominant organization in North American League of Legends and win their fourth North American Championship.
This time, after defeating Team Envious and Immortals in the regional gauntlet, Impact was able to secure a spot at the World Championship, his first time back at the game's biggest stage since he won it in 2013.
제가 SK 있을 때 실패를 했단 말이에요. 저희가 다 저저력했고 그러다가 또 TIP 때 겪으니까 이제 저는 저야 월드 챔피언십에 못 가나 영원히 이 생각도 했었는데
Cloud9 landed in a rough group at Worlds 2016, facing off against SK Telecom T1, IMEI, and Flash Wolves. With SKT a clear favorite to make it out of the group, Cloud9 were expected to struggle to find the second seed. This was especially true against the Taiwanese players on Flash Wolves, who had built up a formidable reputation at international events. But the group stage draw meant something else for Impact. He would face off against his old teammates, his old coach. He would play against the organization that made his career.
Yikes, that's gonna be a hard one to explain, that, isn't it?
동료이자 친한 동생 그 정도 사이입니다.
저희가 13년도랑 14년도 하고 원영이랑은 같이 게임을 안 했고 또 경기에서도 만난 적이 없어서.
They get the damage they need. Headbutt pulverized catches only on the blank. They've already killed off Smoothie. That's not enough here for C9. Sneaky getting caught out. He's in danger. He could go down. Then he does. Blake is on a rampage. 2 for 0. Now a double kill for Bang. Make it 3 already. Meteor's gonna lose it. And Impact is not gonna be enough. A single kill doesn't matter enough. Sure, he walks away, but SKT in complete control, looking to close out the game.
In the end, SKT beat Cloud9 in both their group stage games.
Wow.
But thanks to some struggles from Flash Wolves and consistent play on Cloud9's part,
Here comes Impact. He cancels it. Impact's going to come in the They've got it. They've killed him. That's it. They have just done it. They jump onto Corsa. It's a 5-on-3. Mitos is running for his life.
the NA team was able to secure the second seed to quarterfinals with a 3-3 record. In quarterfinals, Cloud9 faced off against eventual finalist Samsung Galaxy.
And it looks like Samsung Galaxy will be moving on to the semifinals at Madison Square Garden.
And were dismantled 3-0. Cloud9 were not expected to win. They went further than any other NA team at the tournament. But against one of the best teams in the world, they couldn't hold up.
Look back at how they really got here, and Impact was playing so good in the top lane, and teams made sure to shut that down as much as they could. And it definitely seemed like that's what Cloud9 was lacking. The fact that Impact couldn't get going again, and I'm not saying it's his fault, teams made sure that Impact couldn't get going again.
It might have been a decent performance for NA on the international stage, but for Impact, it was another year without an NALCS title, and another year without any notable results on the international stage. In spring 2017, Cloud9 came close again. They placed second in the regular season, with Impact taking 11 Player of the Game awards, tied for second with Hanser, just behind Dardox 12.
Wow.
But after making their way to another finals against TSM, they fell in a close 3-2 series to miss out on MSI. And in the summer split, Cloud9 faltered.
Heartbreak for Cloud9. This is a game that Cloud9 had a 10,000 gold lead and 3 dead inhibitors and a full build Tristana, and they failed to attack Nexus turrets to play it right to close the game. Their tanks got caught out, shoved into the fight.
Yet again, TSM hoisted the trophy while Cloud9 were forced to play in the regional finals for a shot at Worlds.
Cloud9 barely make good on their promise. Your final team at the 2017 World Championship.
This time, Cloud9 had to make it through the play-in stage, where they swept their group and qualifier match without dropping a game.
Is obliterated. Double kill for Jensen. Proving himself on this one. Triple kill exactly. And he's going to take down the Nexus C9. It was more difficult this time, but they're now 4-0 in the group.
But once they qualified for the main event, Impact and the rest of Cloud9 faced stiff competition. With shades of 2016, they once again had to face SKT, along with tough international teams in Edward Gaming and AHQ Esports Club. Once again, Cloud9 made it out with a 3-3 record as the second seed. Once again, they were the only NA team to advance to the top 8. This time though, Cloud9 wouldn't be facing off against a top Korean team. They were seeded against World Elite, a Chinese roster that has showed strong results in groups, but who looked mortal. Cloud9 had a fighting chance, and they knew it. The series went back and forth, with everything coming down to a pivotal game 5.
Here comes Shen, 4v2. Ben, he's going to be the first one to start. They're going to try and gank the Arden Sensor. Ben, Monsoon not enough, as now Mystic's the next target. Jensen, he's also here, but Sheehan made it through. Shockwave fights them both after Mystic Flash, and Cloud9 they get to. They're looking for the third, they'll get it all.
But World Elite was able to push a mid-game lead to a huge gold advantage. And in the end, Cloud9 couldn't clutch the series.
WE will hold on. They weather a brutal storm, and Waterley will put advanced themselves to a historic semifinal.
For Impact, it was the end of his third year in North America, and after 2 quarterfinal exits at Worlds and too many almosts in the NALCS, it was clear that something had to change. The end of 2017 signaled a new, franchised era in North America, and with big money flowing into the scene, there was a huge turnover in rosters. Orgs vied for top talent to secure the best possible franchise team for themselves, and after 3 splits with Cloud9, Impact moved to a new roster. Team Liquid attracted a lot of attention heading into the spring split. Impact joined TL alongside former CLG core Xsmithy, Pobelter, and Doublelift, and Korean support Ole. It was a roster that boasted proven synergy and very strong lanes. People expected Team Liquid to dominate.
Yeah, this roster is basically built to win, that's why I joined it.
The regular season saw some stumbles.
And you can see Impact devastating.
And despite a strong start, by the end of the split, Team Liquid were caught in a convoluted tie near the top of the standings. They entered playoffs and quarterfinals with a lot of questions about their play, but those questions were dismissed almost immediately.
But here comes the engaged double kill Smoothie. The fight goes to Infinity, and the fight continues well for Liquid. 2 kills already, double. Getting a double for himself, Azonia's pop. Will the Shockman cut it too early? They can't kill him, Sneaky. He only gets 1, but it's a triple for double.
All season long, it was clear that Team Liquid had the talent to win.
Impact's taking some damage here to this one. I don't think he can get away with this. He's going to fight a little bit, put the shield on. He's buying some time. He's doing really good with that, but his health bar is still running low. Gets actually... Oh, you're kidding me! Impact actually gets the kill! And he's not dying! Are you freaking kidding me, Impact? Still staying alive! Rakan shows up, gives him the heart, and that is ridiculous!
They'd assembled a roster stacked with individual talent. But until playoffs, they'd been unable to capitalize on their potential. And they peaked at the right time.
He's gonna fall to Dublin, and look at the chunk down as Jensen's gone. Second time in a row not getting the shockwave in the team fight. Licorice gonna be not long for the world either. The chase almost there. Ole wants to flank him.
In the end, only one team stood between Liquid and the NALCS trophy, 100 Thieves. Liquid were able to ride the momentum.
Baron 1/4 HP, very, very low. Smithy wanting to go over the wall.
Oh, maybe he
And the rest of the series was about one team, and one team only.
The Nexus is exposed, the Thieves are on the retreat, and Liquid is looking to take this to match point right here, right now. Stick around with the buff. There goes Xsmithy, able to go in, able to find the pull, destroys Ryu, and that's one of your carries already out of the picture. 100 Thieves in some trouble, going to be taken even lower. Afrobu already taken down. It's a double for double lift, and the Thieves are triple. Liquid will look for the win right here. They've all been to the final stage before, and now they'll be there victorious together as Team Liquid are your North American LCS Spring Split champions.
Liquid dominated the rest of the finals, and as confetti rained down on them, Impact was elated. After more than 3 years in North America, and so many close but not quites, the win was Impact's first title since Champions winner 2013-2014.
Wow.
In the 4.5 years since then, he moved across the world, developed his skills, become a leader, learned a new language, and made many, many top laners die. His peers in the NALCS had come to revere him as one of the best tops to ever play in the region. There's no question that Impact has already cemented his place in League's history books. Impact has evolved from a brash young player to a mature veteran presence who's capable of fitting into any team. But he'd never been able to hoist that trophy, never conquered his region. But on that hot day in Florida, Impact was back on top.
Thanks for watching. If you want more great...
Okay guys, that was the story of Impact, and considering we've still got the likes of Faker to get through, I don't even know how on earth you could go from Impact to Faker with a title like the greatest of all time. Because that's, after watching Impact, I genuinely do not know how you can get better than that. Impact's story has been one of, if at first you don't succeed, try again. And Impact, he didn't just try, he tried so many different things. He tried being a leader, and he was a leader. He tried speaking a second language, and he spoke a second language. He tried saying top die, and we went through on it. Like, dude, that's just straight up dedication to your work right there. It just Impact, it's really, really, it's just like watching like a kid having his first day at school to his very last day at school. You could see the difference written in his face, if ever there was one. It's remarkable that he went to this length right now. I think that's absolutely remarkable, and that's just something I think any good athlete will probably take note of. Somebody who started off quite confident, very, very rash, and just wanting to just go all full force on it. But after all this time, after all these years, he knows what he had to do. He's known. He just did it. He just got on with it and did it. And those sort of people make great esport players, if not great personalities for the world to look up to. Good job, Impact. Please don't look at me and say top die as well, please. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed the story of Impact Top Die. Please make sure to leave your thoughts and comments in the comments section down below. Let me know what you thought about the story of Impact as well. Please also make sure to like and subscribe so you get daily notifications when my videos come out. And I hope to see you guys again in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye for now.